Hi, welcome once again to the Celeb Talk 1.0, one more blasting session to recharge, inspire, and show you the way of leadership. This time, as we have promised, we have brought one more unique personality who is going to show us the path of leadership and tell us more about her life. We have got our special guest, Ms. Maryna Dychka, and here I'm Dr. Das, your host, who is going to present the Celeb Talk today. So we would definitely like to know more about our today's guest, and we'll definitely do some wonderful conversation and try to know from her that what exactly has inspired her to take up a wonderful career from aviation to HR. And no more than an example, she is basically an inspiration to the present generation. I'm sure when we listen to her, you will really get goosebumps, because guess where she is now? She is in Ukraine, and she's actually seeing everything from her own eyes, and she's actually having a dragon heart, a bold personality to take all the odds and adversities in a stride and move with the liveliness and the mindfulness to lead a successful career. So we'll know it all from the aviation to the war zone, how exactly has been her experience all through. And here I, Dr. Das, welcome once again to Ms. Maryna to this Celeb Talk. And I hope our guests who will be listening to this podcast, they'll be really recharged and inspired by this show. Welcome, Maryna.
Hi, Pramankur. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be your guest today. And I really hope, my story can inspire someone.
Absolutely. In fact, we believe, Maryna, that people like you are the good Samaritans who really have done so many good things. And we always wish that you continue this success journey so that many people who would be listening to your story in the similar way will get inspired. So I would like to know, before we start our show, that Miss Maryna, who has done her Bachelor of Arts, and then finally she did her diploma from the London School of Economics, and what exactly inspired or motivated you to choose a career in aviation? And then we could see that Maryna joining in an aviation industry as a air hostess and then gradually taking to the peak of success. So if you can just share some stories about that how exactly you got into that career.
Yeah, sure, of course. So honestly speaking, it's all started with the missed deadline. So 10 years ago, I actually missed my deadline to apply for my master's degree. I was dealing with family issues at the time, personal challenges, and actually some technical glitches during the application process. So I realized it was a time for me to enter the real world. And I started applying for all kinds of jobs that you can imagine, but for me, being a young student, 21 years old, passionate, love travels. So I thought air hostess could be a possible career move for me at that point of time. So I started looking, and then I suddenly found actually a company in Ukraine that was representing a Middle East companies. So I applied. And then 2 weeks later, they're calling me, asking me for the interview. I totally forgot about them. And then they were like, yeah, we would like to have the interview with you. And actually, we have opportunity for the Emirates, which was and still at the best airline in the world. So for me, it was like, wow, the dreams are coming true. Is it really happening to me? So this is all it started like that. And was actually 2014, right when the war started in Ukraine. It was really tough time, both for my family and the country. And I didn't know much, honestly, about the Middle East. But then for me, it was like, okay, challenge is accepted. It's time for a change. So let's move on. And I landed in Dubai in July 7, 2014. It was Ramadan. It was the first Ramadan in my life. So you can imagine how it was to land in the desert, and then straight away the next day we ended up in the training college.
Amazing. In fact, that itself is a big inspiration. So I just, noticed one thing, that you are a kind of a person who was never afraid to take on a challenge, and you have plunged straight away to an unknown career, and that also with the kind of confidence. So what exactly were the challenges initially when you have come to an international diaspora like Middle East in Dubai, and what were exactly your experiences the first-hand experiences when you stepped into aviation, which is really a glamorous career. I mean, like as long as people are seeing it from outside. So we want to
Yeah.
know a little bit about the career itself. That how exactly is this career, and what are exactly the challenges?
Well, yeah, I like when people say that it's the most glamorous job on earth, but it's not. Because when you enter the training college and you see how many things the aircraft has and what you have to learn, and then actually you understand that if something gonna happen, God forbid, yeah, it will be in your hands as an air hostess. It's in your hands to save the life of people. This is, we're talking about the real emergency situation, but we have cases when people just fainted on the board, where they have epilepsy, or we have a severe allergic reaction, basically. So you have to deal with it, so you need to keep calm yourself. First of all, you need to be able to take actions and actually to take a decisions. So this is the most challenging, things to do. This is when you need to think instead of other people, because you actually know that you're influencing their life at this particular time. Also, the second challenge, it was multicultural environment, basically because every time, every flight, we had a different people, different team, and different nationalities. So you need to adapt to people mindsets, different cultural perspective. Something is cool for you could be completely opposite in my culture, so you start learning, okay, this is how we work today. You need to be a team player as well, you can't just think, because again, in the critical situation, all of you needs to work as a team, so it's time to listen, time to actually start thinking that you are not the only one, and you are actually the team, and then the third thing is that the heartbreaking thing, I would say, in this career is that sometimes we had people that were traveling on the last time in their life, and they wanted to go home, and then because they had a disease. We saw mommies with 1 month old babies, and you just want to help her, so she can have some rest, but in the meantime, you need to smile, to do the service for your customers, and when people saw that you are from their country, they would like to talk to you. They actually tell you all their life story, so this is actually kind of a psychological impact on you as well, because you see people trust you, and they just want to talk to someone, so you really become close. And it taught me a lot. This job definitely taught me a lot, but it's definitely not glamorous. It's physically tough as well, because you changing countries, time zones, constantly. So you really need to be able to do it.
And what happened to be the longest, maybe the travel or the longest flight for you so far?
It was a direct flight to Auckland, New Zealand. It was 17 hours flight, so yeah, that's the longest in the world so far as well. But it was fun actually, because we had a rugby team traveling with us, and they won the rugby championship at that time. So they were carrying all the trophy in the cabin, and everyone knows them, so it was fun, definitely.
So you got some wonderful moments to share with some big time celebrities and some popular icons.
Well, we had a few of them, but they like their privacy, and we always respect that, If they came out, they usually travel in the first class. If they allow to take pictures, you can do it, but you respect, their comfort zone as well.
Absolutely. I really get so much touched by your, the sensitivity and the way you have really explained the career. I think this is really, really big thing. And, it is no less than a leader, because, I see a great leadership trait in you. And of course, the way how you have accepted and, assertively taken the profession that, it's just not only a glamour, but it takes a lot of emotional balance and, lot of understanding of your responsibility, how you serve the customer, how you understand their privacy, their requirement, and how you try to still deliver the best. So that itself is very inspiring. So here I just want to ask you one question. Like, I have seen that a lot of people are sometimes, getting irritated, or, some customers are very irate. They're not really trying to understand the problems, and they're complaining, the people who are giving service. And that must have also happened with you. So in those times, how you're keeping yourself calm, and what exactly was the thing taught to you in this profession?
Oh yeah, almost every flight you have someone like that. It's you have to listen. You know exactly what's the problem. In reality, it could be just misunderstanding, or again, the cultural clash, especially like when during Ramadan times, when you have to respect that people are fasting. So company also helped with that because we use different stickers, with different services. We do announcement, pre-board the flight. We talk to the people before they board the aircraft, and to be honest, you need to spot on the first time you meet the customer, like during boarding, you need to look, you need to see, okay, someone is upset or someone is tired, so you need to keep eye on that people, and of course you can come, you always can complain. We are there for you, to help, especially on a flight when it's 17 hours. Imagine to work 17 hours and just to sit for 17 hours, it's a huge difference. So the most important thing is actually you listen, you emphasize, you ask open questions, you try to paraphrase, and repeat what the person is telling you, if you are right to understand, and then you propose the solution. If it's really reasonable complaint, because we had people trying to get from economy to business class, without any reason, they try their best, but we always help, especially, the price that people are paying for that ticket. So the service needs to be outstanding as well. It's in the same, in every single job, whatever you do, it must be outstanding. Then if you are not doing it like that, if you don't want to go beyond and above, then why you even there? Why you doing this job? Then it's not for you. This is not then your path.
Absolutely. That's going to be the bottom line for all professions, that you always try to, give less expectation and give more service, and really stand very much authentic and responsible to your profession. That's so true. So, Maryna, I just want to know one thing now. Like, since you have lived a very good career, a very good tenure as an aviation professional, what then suddenly happened that you really digressed yourself completely? I think it's a kind of a 180-degree shift. Being in the front line, you were coming to a service, and then you moved yourself to the human resource. So what exactly was now the new twist in the story? So how the twist happened?
So I always wanted a role where I could make a bigger impact on people's careers and their actually life, and then being as air hostess, yeah, it's fine. It's cool when you are young, but when I start obviously working already almost a year and a half, I felt that I stopped growing myself. As a personality, as a professional. So I was start looking, honestly speaking, recruitment, HR wasn't the only one thing. It was also social media marketing that I was looking for. And also I was looking at psychology basically. So I definitely wanted something that where I can use my skills to work with people, and something creative. So when I start really deep diving, into all of these three spheres, I found out that actually recruitment, HR, talent management is something that would really interested me, because I thought, if the person needs to relocate to another country, you kind of making him to change his life. you know, because he or she, you know, they're taking their families as well to relocate. So they're changing schools, jobs, environment. You give them the bigger salary. You're giving them opportunity to grow, you know. So in my head, it was like amazing. I want to be there for sure. So I start looking for something that can help me actually like to improve my skills. So I found out the master in London School of Economics, basically, and I start studying remotely while flying, you know, because I couldn't just leave the job. I had to pay for my studies
True.
as well and support my family. And then when I start even learning this, for me, it was like, okay, cool. Then there was a demand for IT recruitment. This is when fintech start to being everywhere, you know, on the market. So I was like, okay, this is probably the fields I would like to find myself, you know. So then I decided it's enough. I cannot go for job while I'm flying, obviously. So I quit Emirates and I start looking even for internships, you know. And then my career started actually with free internship, you know, in my first company, first global resort and recruitment company. And then it happens that I did a placement during my internship even, you know, and then I was like, definitely, this is something I have to be. So this is how I start basically working in recruitment, you know, and then a year after, Kander called me, you know, and actually offered the job as a recruiter consultant within the IT, fintech, you know, financial services. It was a challenge because I never done IT recruitment before, and it's new again. Like a word of definitions of new words, slang that you have to learn, and you becoming a consultant, meaning that you have to advise people, you have to advise your client. So this is when I was like, okay, this is where I'm growing. This is where is my challenges. This is where I don't feel like comfortable, you know, but okay, what do I do, you know, to improve the skills? So so I start networking, you know, with different people. I start learning from my co-founders, you know, and actually thanks to them, thanks to their beliefs in me, I'm that kind of person that I am today.
No, you really deserve that. And it's so, amazing to know that the kind of incredible, the success which you have got in such a short span of time. And, of course, salute to your spirit that, you
Thank
took
you.
such a big leap. So I just would like to, understand that now you are a chief of staff managing two regions, Ukraine and Dubai. So how exactly the things you are managing and how you are keeping yourself so much motivated that, what kind of leadership qualities do you see like is really required to do that? Because I'm sure being a chief of staff, such a heavy position you are holding, and I'm sure like you have definitely been conditioning yourself. So what are the secret of your leadership?
Well, there is no secret, to be honest, but you definitely need to be to keep basically resilience. You need to be adaptable, and you need to be confident in what you are doing. You know, especially when you're leading people, and because people are relying on you. You know, but also the most important, you need to have a vision. You need to understand why you're doing this, for what you're doing this, what's your motivation, what you want to achieve in the end of this career path. You know, I started as a recruiter. I went through the whole career, from recruiter to being a chief of staff, in the same company, and I saw this company when it was a startup. And now Kander is a global brand, as you said, with the presence in Ukraine, Dubai, and now we are opening office in Saudi, in Riyadh. So people actually rely on my execution. Our co-founders, they always have these ideas, and then there is a person who has to execute, but then you face the challenges because the team, they don't like changes, so you need to listen to people as well, but then you need to understand like your goals needs to be same as the company goals.
Absolutely.
Your needs to be the same. If your values are different from the company where you're working for, you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to be like to able to achieve what you want, because you guys completely want different things. So yeah, definitely.
So I think the three things come out. You said trust, resilience, and getting aligned with the organizational and personal objectives. That is so important. And I think these are the secrets of leading a kind of a wonderful leadership like yours.
Since they walk in, I can see on their faces, is it a good day for them going to be, or it's a bad day going to be? So I think we're getting, much more ability now to show ourselves, to actually take that leadership position, and it's not like, long time ago, and even if I'm seeing if you're talking recruitment perspective, from the salary differences, it stopped being really inequality, the standards are the same, and sometimes our clients even asking, we need a diversity in the team. So even the company start understanding that the environment needs the change, environment needs the diversity in the team, and this is where we can bring the difference to any of the business.
So well said. So I would like to move on to now the present situation. Like as we know that you're in Ukraine, and I pray to God that people be safe, you be safe. What exactly is the ground zero situation out there? How actually the things are really, means whatever we see in the television, is it like that, or really the kind of safety security measures are there? How exactly people are managing this?
Well, I would say we will never know the truth. You need to keep yourself bold here, and not really rely on news, and I have people on the front line there that I know, which are basically relatives of my team members, so I cannot tell all the details, obviously, but we are facing blackouts almost regularly, when we can sit without electricity for 5 hours. There are air raids almost every day. Thanks God, on the western part of Ukraine where we are based, it's much safer than on the east side, but we are keep getting refugees. We are keep getting people who is relocating from the east side to the west side, and you feel the pressure is out there. You're going out, like I'm traveling here because of my position. So when I'm in Europe, you can feel even the air is different, Here people are stressed. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to have electricity or not, Every time there is air raid, even the kids from the nurseries, they have to go to the bomb shelter. So it's hard to see that they're growing actually in this kind of conditions,
True.
But I see my team, and I'm so thankful to their commitment and how they're actually managing the stress in this particular situation, because what we start focusing is actually on work, and then we are volunteering, if we can, we donate, so we help as much as we can. But what keeps us moving is actually work, because this is definitely something where you can switch,
Exactly.
your mind, but we are listen only to what we believe, because everything that's in the news,
and we have to just accept things as it is. We have to be very assertive in our gesture, and that's so true. So I really, salute your leadership, and I'm sure, like the mankind should see leaders like you who can keep inspiring, keep recharging, and keep showing us the way that how exactly life could be. So we have just come to the end of this podcast, but before we leave, we would like to know if you have some final takeaway for the people who would be listening to
Yeah.
this podcast and those who are really, trying by this time already to dream to become a person like you. So what would be your message for our audience?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my motto is basically, don't allow anyone to steal your joy, and the magic you are looking for is in the things you are avoiding. So I hopefully you will be able to listen this phrase on the repeat, because this is when the reality happens of you, when you start growing, when you move and you go against the things that is uncomfortable for you. This is when you start growing. For me, growth is simple. It means never stopping and always looking for ways to get better, especially nowadays. Yesterday we didn't have a chat GPT. Today we have something that can solve any kind of problem, Yesterday was everything okay. The other day we woke up and we had COVID, and we've been closed like that, in our apartments. So till you have the opportunity, use it, because you never know when you're going to be able basically to use it again. And maybe you are now in the right time, in the right place, so don't overthink, just do it with the flow. Don't wait for the better time. There is never a better time. While you're thinking to start, someone is already doing, further steps. Take it small step every single time, every single day, and then you will become very close to what your goals, I start my year simple, it's not like a magic, fact. When you write your goals, what I want to achieve, then make it 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever is working for you the best, even if it's hard for you, okay, do it for 1 month. Put it simple to achieve 2 things. When you will start seeing the results, this is when you start believing in yourself, so never underestimate yourself, and never allow people, again, to steal your joy, to tell you that it's impossible. No, there is no such things that it's impossible. It's just you being lazy, and don't want to go out of your comfort zone to achieve much more than what you can.
So wonderfully said. And I'm sure like this golden takeaways will be ever cherished and people will really listen to this wonderful takeaways that yes, we should not ensure anyone to take away our happiness, our joy, which is really priceless. And second is, as you said, that we should not wait for anyone. We should just move on with the, the kind of ambition which we have and then see what exactly comes next and never be afraid to grow. So that's so true in life. We would like to continue this broadcast, but every good thing comes to an end. So we would really like to thank you and give our final respect and salutation for joining this wonderful Celeb Talk 1.0. We would like to get back once again if there are further availability of your busy schedule. We know that you are very busy, but it was really a pleasure talking to you.
Same from my side, and I really hope it will be useful for anyone. And whoever gonna be watching this, guys, I'm sure Pramankur will leave my details, and please don't hesitate to reach me out on the LinkedIn, and ask a question, advice on the career, or even have a look on your resume. I would be happy to help, honestly, because I know how it's important to get the advice, when you really need it. So thanks, Pramankur. It was really a pleasure to be your guest today.
Thank you, Maryna. It was really a pleasure having you in our show. And with the promise that we'll come back with one more leader in our next upcoming episode of Celeb Talk 1.0, here Dr. Das signing off from this wonderful session. Thank you. Take care and be safe.